Hello, my name is Aisha Raison, and this is Alliteranti, where we go into cultural storytelling, talking about literature, art, music, and everything for the culture. Today's podcast talks about Maya Angelou and the story of Georgia, Georgia. When we bring up Dr. Maya Angelou's name, people will quote her poems such as Phenomenal Woman, Still I Rise, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and such. Now, some will speak in varied speeches, her books, and her background long before she hit her 40s and became a published writer. After all, Maya had been a Jill of all trades. She had been a dancer, a hooker, a mama, poet laureate, a professor, director. But they leave out a footnote in history that's very seldom heard. So Dr. Angelou became the first known black woman to have written the screenplay for the 1972 Sweden-American drama Georgia, Georgia.
I can call down thunder, hear rain, come here thunder, come here rain.
Saquen su alma a paseo y por primera vez vean en la pantalla las más hondas emociones del negro.
Now, I had never heard of it until late night during the quarantine when I couldn't sleep, and there I was, wide awake like the rest of the country, and roaming on YouTube looking for anything that could put me back to sleep. The cover on the screen showed the beautiful and talented Diana Sands. Now, if you don't know who that is, she played Beneatha in the movie production for Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. In this, she's like in a yoga stance. Out of curiosity, and because it was 2 o'clock in the morning, I checked to see this little wonderment, now knowing that this was Dr. Angelou's first work on screen. Now, of course, she did other movies such as Sister, Sister, and we also know about Down in the Delta. But I had no clue about Georgia, Georgia. Now, it's a story that's seen in two different ways, so let's cut to the chase. Georgia Martin, she's a singing sensation from the United States, comes to Europe to perform and perhaps get a little bit of rest and relaxation. She wanted nothing to do with speaking with the pro-Black war deserters. Her assistant, Miss Alberta Anderson, is quite a rebel against whites and attempts to help the Black deserters as they attempt to get Georgia to speak up on their behalf. She's a pro-Black voice in Georgia's head, literally and physically, warning her that white people would destroy her and manipulate her in a lot of ways. As the pro-Black deserters try to get to Georgia by any means, Michael, a white war deserter, now photographer, meets with Georgia for a photo shoot. Georgia tells her manager that she wants nothing to do with the pro-Black deserter and has no conversation for them. As Georgia does her shoot, one of the deserters speaks to Mrs. Anderson about the strife that the Black men have been under in Sweden as they needed help, such as doctors, employment, and favor from those that could help, such as celebrities and large-name Blacks from the U.S. Now, Georgia, she just wants to rest. She doesn't want to be seen as superhuman. Even when all she wants to do is rest, it's as if the world keeps pulling at her. From the promoters, the pro-Black war deserters, even her manager.
Little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh,
Why do they want to make me superhuman? Why can't I be just plain Georgia, just myself? I have needs. Maybe they don't have the same ones. So what do they want to make me into?
Oh, even in my home, I'm gonna let it shine.
Mrs. Anderson is her reminder, she states, of what she's trying to escape. An institutionalized mindset that told her that she was Black, less than the celebrity that she was supposed to be. She stated that the one thing she could depend on were misfits and mammies. Once again, her reminder of what she left behind. In her monologue, she describes the sugar cane and the destruction of her innocence. And as the speech goes on, it's believed that she had been put through the ringer with her past and her celebrity present.
Shall I tell you a story? Once upon a time, there was a woman. Now, once upon a time, there was a lady. A lady who took out her heart beating and gave it to the world. No one appreciated her gifts. They gave her nothing in exchange. Well, then why did she do it? She did it because they forced her to do it. No, that's not true. She did it because she was one of the big people. They hated her for her generosity. She was surrounded by enemies. The only people she could rely on were misfits and mammies. Did I remember to tell you that she was black? Well, her father and mother were black, and black people tried to claim her pain. I'm going for a stroll. I'm taking my soul for a stroll. She was a little girl who loved Easter. That's a lie. She watched them kill the Easter bunny. She ate it because she was hungry. I remember a time when sugarcane looked like tall, friendly corn. She walked the rows, smiling at the cane. That evening, her hands, my sugarcane was like sharp swords and my hands were bleeding. The next day, she walked the rows again, and the leaves reached out, trying to grab her. She was very clever. She made herself very small. And they couldn't touch her. Never touch her again. Don't touch that lady. She became one of the big ones. That's your story.
For Georgia, there was no space for her to be herself, no space for her to be the woman that she wanted to be without the world grabbing at her at all times. This is perhaps why she was entranced by Michael, the photographer, as she finds herself comfortable and free without having to save the world. For Mrs. Anderson, the death of her husband at the hands of racist white men created her to be the quiet fire, the black rebel like the African mother on a slave ship who would sacrifice her own to save them from the oppression that the winds were blowing them to. The pro-black deserters could have been, she stated, like her sons. She saw the pain and the guilt that ran in some of them, and as a motherly woman, she did all she could to help them by any means. Michael and Georgia's moments revealed that he had a love for black women, as he was raised by one. Georgia believes that this could be a possible fetish, but she isn't offended. She gives into the moment on the third day of her trip. News reaches one of the pro-black deserters, and in haste, he informs Mrs. Anderson of the liaison. In her worrisome anger, Mrs. Anderson decides to save Georgia after she comes back to the hotel, choking Georgia as she sits between Mrs. Anderson's legs, getting her hair brushed for the last time.
Come. Let me brush your hair.
Tomorrow I'll be with him this evening.
I'll give you a nice brushing, and then you can take a long rest. Come on.
so big. I need to be with him for a while.
Not this time. Not this time. Not this time. It's a little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, it's a little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. It's a little light of mine.
Now, after seeing this movie, I couldn't sleep. I became restless. I had so many questions, no real answers. Dr. Angelou had left this earth in 2014, and of course, she can't explain what was written. But after I tirelessly searched the world over for my answers to what I had watched, I came to my own conclusion. Mrs. Anderson represented the old world, the pro-black world, and saw white men for what they were in her eyes. She lost her opportunity to become a mother at the hands of racist white men who had destroyed her husband's manhood before they had met. Her unaliving Georgia was, to her, a mercy. She could not bear to see another black person being used and soiled in white hands. For Georgia, she represented a new space for black women, an interracial mixing of love, friendship, and freedom. Georgia was, in her way, trying to escape the hurt and pain she felt as a black woman at that time, as well as a celebrity. In this movie, she's called a queen, a duchess, an empress constantly, perhaps to work her ego. She, in the eyes of the audience, was to be worshipped. But was it to be worshipped by those of her color? Was it the fact that there was something from her past, perhaps it being the stolen innocence of a woman child that begged for an escape from wearing a heavy crown? This goes back to the hairbrushing between Georgia and Mrs. Anderson. Each time, Georgia found her past and her light through the motherly way Mrs. Anderson provided through the brushing and braiding of Georgia's real hair. For most black women growing up, this moment is a bonding between mother and daughter. At the end of a session such as this, mother and daughter found the root of the problem, so to speak. But in the case of Georgia and Mrs. Anderson, this was more of a moment for Georgia to be reminded of her past only, a salve to soothe when needed after feeling the world on her shoulders. She wanted no reminders, including the flowers and any reminder of death. She even stated that she did not want to be touched. But the only time that she is touched by anyone before Michael is when her hair is being brushed. Overall, it's believed that everything that weighs her down and reminds Georgia of her past, whether it be her blackness or her childhood, was what she no longer desired. She was a celebrity, yes, but at what cost? She had but herself out there, body and soul, and it was taken, stolen, and manufactured for acceptance among all. And she was tired enough to seek some type of freedom that permitted her to shed her skin, stand in her nakedness, and be accepted without paying a price. But the freedom she received, making love to Michael, or as Mrs. Anderson stated, being spat on by someone that she shouldn't be with, came with the unexpected price of death. I learned later that Dr. Angelou was upset with the final product, seeing that the direction that director Stig Björkman had taken was not what she had written. I would have loved to have seen what Dr. Angelou would have done with this work. Though a cross between a masterpiece and a mess, there's still so much to be interpreted in a film with so much messaging for 1972. So if you would like to watch the movie Georgia, Georgia, I'll leave a link on my page, and definitely take a moment, watch it, interpret it, and tell me what you think. It starts off a little strange, and you may end up finding the movie more in pieces than for one entire movie. But definitely take the opportunity to watch it, enjoy it, and you may even want to tell a friend. Thank you for listening to The Literanti. If you have a request, please do not hesitate to reach out. Just comment here and I'll see what I can do. Meanwhile, it's The Literanti. Thank you for listening.